Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Generation Tech. My name is Ben and I am back from my 3-week Christmas vacation to the UK. The UK, you might ask, isn't that a cold, rainy place? No, the UK is like Alderaan this time of year. Cool but beautiful, whereas the northeastern United States is like Hoth right now. Anyway, today we are looking at the Resistance fleet that we see in the movie The Last Jedi. I'll cut out the ones that everyone already knows, like the X-Wing, A-Wing, etc. So first up, we have the MG-100 Star Fortress SF-17 bomber. I'm guessing the name Star Fortress SF-17 was inspired by the US B-17 Flying Fortress bomber. It has the word Fortress and 17 in the name. George Lucas did take a lot of inspiration from World War II era aircraft. For example, the bridge of the Millennium Falcon was inspired by the US B-29 bomber's cockpit. And so it's great that the new team working on the movies is keeping up with this tradition. According to the book Last Jedi Incredible Cross-Sections, the Star Fortress measures about 100 feet or 30 meters on its longest side, so that should be the height. That makes it almost as tall as the Statue of Liberty when measured from head to toe. Either it's bigger than it comes across in the movies, or the Statue of Liberty is smaller than I thought. Now these ships carried a payload of 1,048 proton bombs that they could drop in a downward motion to a target below the bomber. Now before you get all smart-assy about it and say there's no gravity in space, how could they drop bombs and call The Last Jedi
the worst movie ever?
They have an excuse for that. You know we had bombers in The Empire Strikes Back and nobody cared, right? Anyway, these bombs are propelled by electromagnetic plates within the ship's hull that propel them in a downward motion, and then when they leave the bomb bay doors they keep going because it's space. These bombers are convenient for blowing up First Order or any Star Wars bad guy super weapons that always have a tiny weak spot built into them that's heavily detailed in plans that are stored in an easily broken into facility. Anyway, moving on to our next ship, the cargo frigate Vigil, a ship manufactured by the Kuat Drive Yards. Resistance commandos were able to capture the ship from pirates and bring it into the Resistance Navy. You may see a similarity with the GR-75 transport that we first saw in The Empire Strikes Back, particularly the front hull section. Although the GR-75 was manufactured by a different company, Gallifrey Yards, this company later went bankrupt and was acquired by Kuat Drive Yards with the backing of the Empire. So Kuat incorporated some aspects of Gallifrey designs into later ships, just like the Vigil. The ship is about 500 meters or 1,600 feet long. That's about a third of the length of an Imperial-class Star Destroyer, and in the real world, about as long as Taipei 101 is tall. Taipei 101 used to be the tallest building in the world until it was overtaken by the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. We don't get to see much of this ship in The Last Jedi because it is destroyed as soon as the First Order catches up with the Resistance after tracking them through hyperspace. If only they'd had an ion cannon like they had on Hoth. Next we have the Anodyne, a Nebulon C-class frigate. A very similar design to the Nebulon B-class medical frigate where Luke recovered from having his hand cut off. You know, the one where the ship appears to be outside the galaxy. But before you point out the scientific inaccuracy of it all and call The Empire Strikes Back
the worst movie ever,
they came up with an excuse. It's a protostar, a star still forming, drawing gas from a gas cloud, not a galaxy. Anyway, I got sidetracked. Although this ship has C-class in the name, this is no Mercedes-Benz. It's actually a piece of junk, just like a lot of the ships in Star Wars.
What a piece of junk!
The Resistance got this ship from a salvage yard and refitted it to serve as their medical frigate. The ship is 549 meters long, or roughly twice the length of the UK's Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carriers. Sorry, I got distracted. The Anodyne was destroyed when she ran out of fuel and entered into weapons range of the Supremacy. The captain went down with the ship. Next is the Ninka, Admiral Holdo's ship, a free Virgilia-class corvette manufactured by Carillion Engineering, the same company that built the Tantive 4 for the Royal Alderaanian Navy. It's bigger than the Tantive at 316 meters or 1,000 feet long, so in the real world it's just a little bit shorter than Harmony of the Seas, one of the biggest cruise liners on Earth, or 3 times the length of the Saturn V rocket that took astronauts to the moon. Allegedly. The ship carried 3 heavy plasma bombs for use in orbital bombardment of targets on the surface of a planet. This is sounding like an evil ship. Those Resistance fighters really are terrorizing the galaxy and should be stopped. Fortunately, the Ninka met with the same fate as the Anodyne when she ran out of fuel and was destroyed by the Supremacy. Ironically, the so-called evil First Order probably had the more environmentally friendly ships with lower fuel mileage. Who are the ones who put solar panels on their fighters anyway? Who's evil now, huh? And that brings us to the Radice, the Resistance flagship, an MC-85 star cruiser named after Admiral Radice, who tragically died at the Battle of Scarif. It was Admiral Akbar,
It's a trap!
everyone's favourite Mon Calamari, who petitioned to have the ship renamed out of respect for Radice. It had previously been called Dawn of Tranquility, and this thing was massive. It was 3.5 kilometers or 2.2 miles long and about half a kilometer high. This is what it would look like if it turned up in New York. Now, there are a few different legends theories about how these ships were built. Some say the Mon Calamari just refitted gun turrets and extra armor onto their pleasure cruisers. Imagine putting a few gun turrets and heavy armor on the Titanic. It would probably have sunk much more quickly. And the second theory is that the Mon Calamari just slapped some hyperdrives, armor and gun turrets onto their underwater skyscrapers, which were already pressurized. The Radice's bridge was destroyed by TIE fighters after Kylo Ren pussied out from taking the shot because he still loves his mom. This led Leia to be sucked out into space only to fly back using the Force. Sorry, we don't have much footage from The Last Jedi yet. While Leia was recovering, the ship was commanded by Admiral Holdo, who, after other members of the Resistance escaped to Crate, used the ship in a light-speed ramming attack that would make Lieutenant Commander Worf...
Perhaps today is a good day to die. Prepare for ramming speed!
...cream his pants with jealousy. They could have done with one of these at the Battle of Sector 001. Sorry, wrong universe. And what I don't understand is, why didn't they just do this to destroy the Death Star, or destroy Starkiller Base? And it's not as if Admiral Holdo even needed to be on the ship. They could have just put an astromech droid at the helm. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Generation Tech. I will put the link to the Last Jedi Amazing Cross-Sections book on Amazon.com below for you guys to check out. Please leave your comments below about the Resistance fleet. What do you think was cool? What do you think was not so cool? Subscribe if you're new. Please give this video a like. And if you're watching this, you are Generation Tech.